The movie commences with a narrator describing a primordial time when God brought life into existence. Angels emerged from light, humans from the earth, and jinn from fire. These jinn, beings confined to the void between worlds, grant 3 wishes to whoever awakens them. But upon fulfilling the 3rd wish, they unleash their unholy legions to dominate the earth. The scene shifts to Persia in 1127 AD, where a jinn entreats a Persian emperor for his 2nd wish. The emperor requests wonders, and the jinn uses its powers to inflict torment and mutilation within the palace. Before the emperor can utter his 3rd wish, Zoroaster, a sorcerer, intervenes, warning of the consequences, opening a gateway between worlds, allowing the malevolent jinn to inhabit the earth. Zoroaster traps the jinn within a fire opal. In present-day America, Raymond Bauant oversees the handling of an antique statue, but mishap results in the statue's destruction, revealing the fire opal inside. The jewel eventually lands at Regal Auctioneers, where Nick Merritt entrusts appraiser Alexander Anderson with its evaluation. Alexander's examination inadvertently awakens the jinn, prompting her to seek assistance from her lab partner and potential love interest, Josh Akan, to analyze the jewel further. Later, as Josh gathers data, the gem explodes due to light reflections, freeing the jinn. The lab is devastated, and the jinn, in an act of apparent mercy, grants Josh a wish to alleviate his physical suffering. However, upon Josh's agreement, he experiences excruciating pain as the jinn drains his life essence. Alexandra, attempting to reach Josh, witnesses his plight in a vision, devastated by Josh's death, informs Detective Nathanson about Josh's work on analyzing a gem, vaguely referencing its significance. Meanwhile, a homeless man outside a pharmacy impulsively wishes for the pharmacist's demise, catching the jinn's attention. The jinn offers the man his desired outcome at the cost of his soul, to which the man readily agrees. His wish fulfilled, the pharmacist succumbs to a sudden onset of cancer, witnessed by Alexandra through a psychic connection. After the pharmacist's death, the jinn confronts the homeless man about the price of his wish, prompting the man to flee in terror upon seeing the jinn's true visage. Alexandra, consumed by grief over Josh's loss, reflects on the unfolding events. At home, Shannon reassures Alexandra, insisting that Josh's death wasn't her fault. Alexandra, however, feels responsible, sensing something peculiar about the fire opal. Shannon, concerned for her sister's mental well-being, suggests contacting Alexandra's psychiatrist, fearing a recurrence of past traumas when Alexandra couldn't save their parents from a fire. Shannon reminds Alexandra of the time she rescued her from the fire, emphasizing that her inability to save their parents wasn't her fault. Alexandra argues that her current experiences are different and vows to uncover the truth about Josh's demise. The next day, Alexandra traces the origin of the fire opal to Bauant's statue and questions Bauant about the deity it represents, leading her to folklore professor Wendy Dirith. Meanwhile, the jinn infiltrates a university morgue to steal a man's identity. After assuming the stolen identity, the jinn approaches Nathanson at the police station, seeking Alexandra's address. During their interaction, the jinn notices Nathanson observing a suspect being interrogated. Upon Nathanson's wish for the suspect to commit murder in front of witnesses, the jinn makes it a reality. The suspect grabs a gun and shoots 2 detectives before being subdued. While Nathanson is distracted, the jinn discovers Alexandra's business card. Meanwhile, Alexandra conducts her own investigation and learns that the gem serves as a 2-way portal. Before releasing his brethren, the jinn must charge the stones by gathering human souls through wish granting. He must then fulfill 3 wishes for the person who awakened him. That night, the jinn heads to the Regal Auctioneer's office to locate Alexandra, but the guard refuses entry. The jinn manipulates the guard into wishing him away. With no other option, the jinn complies with the guard's wish to leave, but he insists on entering the building. The guard challenges him, daring the jinn to attempt to pass through him. In response, the jinn transforms the guard into glass and effortlessly walks through him. Upon reaching Nick's office, the jinn demands Alexandra's address. Nick refuses, prompting the jinn to showcase his abilities by turning an artifact into gold and diamonds. So resistant, Nick finally relents when the jinn offers him anything he desires. Nick asks for $1 million, and the jinn fulfills the wish by causing a plane crash involving Nick's mother, who had an insurance policy naming Nick as the beneficiary. The next day, unable to shake off thoughts of the gem, Alexandra calls Professor Durith from Shannon's phone. Unbeknownst to her, the djinn intercepts the call and redials Durith's number after returning the phone to Shannon. Alexandra spots the djinn in the crowd, but he vanishes from view. Upon returning home, Nathanson warns Alexandra of a man searching for her. Their conversation is abruptly halted as the djinn begins claiming the souls of those who made wishes. Alexandra witnesses this in anguish through a vision, and once it ends, she receives a call from the djinn, who informs her that only she can release the captured souls. Alexandra rushes to Durla's apartment to seek help, informing her about the djinn's pursuit and the gems charged with souls. Desperate for guidance, Alexandra asks Durla for advice, but the professor reveals the scarcity of spells and sorcerers capable of combating the djinn in the rationalistic age of reason. Feeling isolated, Alexandra resolves to face the djinn alone, but Durla dismisses her chances, citing the djinn's ancient and overwhelming power. Upset, Alexandra attempts to leave, but the djinn intercepts her. The djinn discloses that he killed Durla after fulfilling her wish to rid her of fear, revealing his true visage. Alexandra demands his demise as her wish, but the djinn, immortal, demonstrates his inability to die. Feeling cornered, Alexandra reluctantly makes her first wish, asking to know the djinn's true nature. In response, the djinn transports her in the fire opal, unveiling the horrors he inflicts with captured souls. As Alexandra flees from a pursuing reptilian creature, the djinn confronts her, blaming her lack of precision in wishing. Threatening Shannon's safety, the djinn coerces Alexandra into making her second wish, transporting her to her apartment, away from him. Discovering Shannon's absence, Alexandra rushes to Bont's party, where the djinn has already ingratiated himself. As Alexandra searches for Shannon, she realizes her sister has left the party. Utilizing his powers, the djinn unleashes chaos reminiscent of his past exploits in Persia, animating objects to attack the guests. Amidst the pandemonium, the djinn confronts Alexandra, urging her to end the chaos with her third wish. However, Alexandra remains steadfast in her refusal. As she flees, a statue brought to life by the djinn attacks her. Encountering Beaumont, Alexandra seeks Shannon's whereabouts, but Beaumont is incapacitated as a monstrous creature emerges from him. In a desperate struggle, Alexandra fends off the creature with a shard from an antique vase. Security guards arrive, but the animated statues overwhelm them, slaughtering them one by one. Finally, the djinn corners Alexandra and traps Shannon, pressuring Alexandra to make her final wish. In a moment of clarity, Alexandra wishes for the dock worker not to have been drinking 2 days prior, undoing the events that led to the djinn's rampage and presumably restoring his victims. The djinn is sealed back into the opal, ending the nightmare. The scene returns to the dog, where the now sober operator effortlessly lowers the crate containing Aura Mazda. Alexandra visits Josh at the lab, where Josh notices her peculiar satisfaction, but she refuses to divulge the reason. Back at Bont's private collection, the camera zooms inside the jewel containing Aura Mazda, revealing the djinn seated on a throne, awaiting release. The movie concludes. Check out our other recaps popping up on your screen right now.